this is paying off the most. They have been so clever.
That they have. So as we head onto the pitch for the first time in at least 2 best-of-7s here, I love that these sets are a thing now, because even if you drop one set, you get that break, go off, reset, go again, and perhaps even go into the third. Azure in a blue, Alke in orange. Gex, this is an absolute exciting and enthralling series for us to watch.
Yeah, the first game of 2 reverse sweeps, who would have thought? But we'll have to see. Maxu already forming an attack now as he turns on this. Without boost though, Alke do struggle to get much, and LCT really struggling on that one. That should have been away.
It should. The pass up, connecting with Maxu, going for the second touch, but cannot get it on target. The pressure kept high by LCT. Balleries, again, just keep that pressure, not going directly towards net, and I think that's a calculated decision here where Alke just want Azure to be forced into their back line.
Clever decisions so far from Azure, but they are sitting back. They are pacing themselves for this. They don't want to get in over their heads by committing upfield too far, but they will need aggression sooner or later. They have shown a pretty good display of the ball so far, though, I have to say. And actually an opportunity opening up there, but a double commit, they do overcommit on it.
Good demo from Claw-Z, but LCT going for the second touch, nearly gets it. Claw-Z once again there to make the save and gets it away. But Alke looking to lock out that midfield line. Balleries can't get past Claw-Z, who has truly turned up today to win.
Turned up indeed, and but who hasn't? Let's be honest. I mean, both these teams have faced grueling series. LCT doesn't care. He's not sweating. He's just going to jump off and casually make a shot that's this insane look easy.
Bag it, pack it, salt it, maybe even honey roast it. That was insane nuts right there. Cannot believe LCT, like a sneaky ninja on the backboard, where he shouldn't really be at all, just has that spark of an idea and can commit on it. Just built different.
I don't even know if it was just a sudden spark, a sudden idea that came to him. I think you call for that. Like, there's no way you go up onto that backboard with no reason. You have to have told your team where you're going to be. And they played off it really, really well.
Oh.
Squiggly one back, though. Azure, the targeting on that. Absolute precision to thread the needle here.
Azure going to have to do, well, no less. That, I'm not going to lie, it's like one part luck, but it was after pressure and a little bit of misposition coming out from Alke. Any single mistake Alke make, like 180 earlier, Azure have to punish and have to be ready to pounce on it. Squiggly that time was. The launch downfield, Squiggly go for the second!
Oh.
Azure in a 1-2, punch and a jab, go and take the lead.
And the word luck cannot be talked about on this one.
No,
What a pass up from Squiggly, sorry. Bunny dummy, insane work on that.
I can't help but just have a large smile creeping across my face right now, Gex, because like many others that tuned on in, watched the first regional, it finished across this 2 series, the 2 best-of-7s, with Azure only taking 1 game. Azure, I'm pretty sure, I'm safe in saying, are not going to go away with only 1 game now. They look ready to take on Alke head-to-head, but Alke, each and every time, is so crafty. They find ways on through.
I mean, like, just look at the improvement in only 2 weeks. They look like they're going to take more games, and at no point I don't think that we could have said that about Azure in that first regional. Now they're looking confident against Alke, if not ready for a win. But it's gonna take more shots just like this. Another passing play. Bunny Dummy scoring this one.
The famous saying is, what a difference a day makes. What if you give them 14? Azure are absolutely stepping up to the challenge. I adore it, implore it, and hope that it's not stopping anytime soon.
They're just giving us so much reason to love them, Azure, aren't they? I mean, they play so wholesomely. They play well and they play with each other, and I love seeing that. We talked about the Three Musketeers kind of look, and who doesn't love the Three Musketeers as well, right?
Yeah, it's a great story, and I'm now wondering who they're going to bring under as like the fourth Musketeer, the what is it, D'Artagnan, to the mix, the young talent which they start building up. Because we do know how subs can play a massive important part in this. What was it? Yesterday, on Friday, we saw Tank step on in as well and be such a massive important part to roster.
Yeah, in a series against Alke as well.
Insane. So far, with 50 seconds left to go, I think we're going to get a third, and I think we might also get an OT come out here. Alke are looking primed to take this, just need the finishing touch, and there it is. I can feel a bit smug about this one.
Now, the worry I do have for Azure is that shots like this are beating them from Alke. I mean, they're good shots, but Alke are just warming up. Azure has just come off of the series of their life, returning from that to reverse sweep that series. You know, there's warm-up to be done by one side, and it's the other side that we're looking for more out of.
Oh, that's killer. LCT able to beat the last man with what to many might seem like a very simple shot. It's a good shot though, saving that dodge to put so much power onto it, hitting with the corner of the car to get even more, and it's 5 miles per hour quicker than a save.
And the angle as well. I mean, it's not just tough to get that speed, it's even tougher when you have to send it a very different direction. To find the touch he just did is actually a brilliant shot, and made very, very well. But Azure have just enough time to fire one back if they can get out of defense now. Bunny Dummy gonna come down onto this, but brought away from him. Just pressure onto them. There's a pass down. Clawsy's going to take it away from his teammate. He has to make the touch. He doesn't, and Alke take game 1.
They were ready for it, though. If there was 6 seconds in a game instead of 5, we could be looking at 4-all. But we could also be looking at a 5-4 going either way, you know? It's the reality. 5 minutes on the clock. You've got to do the most you can with it, and Alke made the most out of a comeback. At one point, they're 3-2 down, and we were saying Azure looking to hold on, but Alke, they do not rest.
An interesting stat that we just saw on that screen, I don't know if I've seen this, is that there was a full orange bar for Alke on saves, and that was only 2 saves. So Azure didn't make a save that game.
Well, that's partly because look at how Alke attacked during that game. It was a lot of hitting off the backboard, but quite far away from net, hence out of range of the the save detection, like on target as well, but still on target enough to register as a shot. So it's more that case that they were hitting against backboard 1, 2, 3, and then they threw it towards net. And that last one, they pulled all defenders out, and no one's there to make a save.
I think exactly what you were just talking about is one of the reasons that they were able to take out a win and consistently do against 1&E. That they're able to just make use of their surroundings, make use of the backboard, draw opponents out of net. They're not just taking shots, they're taking them when they know they can score.
As we head into game 2, another 5 minutes up on the clock. We're at Forbidden Temple, which, Gex, I've got to say, my favorite map at the moment. It's just Pip Neo Tokyo. A beautiful setting for this battle.
You know what? I like hearing that because I share the sentiment, and I have since it was released. Absolutely beautiful map, and hopefully we can see some beautiful things out of it. But Azure now trying to show it to us early with no boost there. Bunny Dummy will not be able to get back that and does lose control now, though, as it transfers all the way to the other side of the field. A big bump. LCT up, but denied by Clawsy.
But a very scary moment and a statement as always being made from Bulleries. How he can do so much with nothing. No boost in the tank. Can take it the entire length of the pitch. that is not an easy job to do, where he can just hold that much control and then also pick those moments where he doesn't need to stay in his own half.
There it comes again. AZU opting for the safer option and resetting their ability to attack, but it does get away from them. Now a good opportunity for Azure. They need to get onto this fast. Claw-Z does find the pass in. Two-man commit onto it out of defense there as well, and it does actually work out for them. Claw-Z back does in time.
A minute and a half without a goal just yet. Looking to melt this one. Bunny Dummy to sink it. A beautiful finish. LCT throwing it into the corner. Needed AZU to put it elsewhere. AZU across net. That's like a Rocket League sin right there.
Yeah, he made the passing play for them, and what a passing play it was. I gotta say though, I mean, you don't expect necessarily that passing play out of your opponent. So to be able to capitalize on that was very, very quick thinking, good reaction speed, and it really was well capitalized on.
But again, it's one of these things that goals come out of Alke mistakes, because I don't know how to put that. Again, shooting across your own net is something you just should not do. And so it was a mistake punished, and another mistake punished here as Azure, with all the pressure, is making Alke crack.
And now Alke starting to remind us a little bit that they were defeated by Disconnected in the lead up to this. There is a bit of a pause here, so they might be having some issues on field, but yeah, I mean, you've got to go back to that. There is a question mark over Alke with that matchup. I know that Tank was streaming it, but it wasn't seen here on the main stream, and a lot of people are wondering how that happened. This might be it.
Might be indeed. So don't know exactly what the technical pause is for right now. Hopefully we get a little recap in our ear, just standard tech issues, but a weird sort of moment for Alke right now. This is probably a saving grace with what 3 minutes left to go. I've just been told my ear is ping issues going on there. So 3 minutes left to go. This game is still open for Alke to take, and 2 goals you can come back from, can't you?
You can, but maybe not with ping issues. So it's a good thing we've got this pause. Yeah. So, you know, Alke, I mean, we're assuming it's on Alke's side. We haven't seen the pings, but I think that's a fairly safe assumption right now. Yeah. Because, you know, looking at this, as you are just playing too well to possibly have issues like that. I mean, they are actually doing very well. Despite mistakes on Alke's side, you can't take that away from them.
And now I've got sort of like thinking, is this just down to the nationalities? Because as we said, and one of the reasons why Asia is split up into APAC North and South is because it's Spaghetti Junction internet-wise with wiring over there. It's hard when you've got so many different island nations. And I'm trying to think of the nationalities, and I'm pretty sure the whole of Azure is in Singapore. Alke, Indonesia and Singapore as well. So
Azure
it might
is
be more of a
Yemen,
player.
Yemen and Singapore.
But I'm pretty sure Bunny Dummy is in Singapore. That's why. Like,
yeah.
It's not his nationality, yeah. But the same, like, Maxi's not playing from Ireland here, Gex. I'm just giving you that right now. Yeah. So it might have just been across the board, and Azure could handle it. And of course, if there's noticeable issues with ping, we've got admin powers. We can just set up a new one. Not an issue. It could also just be one player, but we've just had it come through that we're remaking lobby, score, and time, of course, still standing. This is an interesting one, because if it's a long break as well. It's not a, like, very simple. It was like trying to investigate. So here with what, 2-3 minutes, is there going to be a bit of cool off, technical like, or tactical talk? Sorry, not technical talk, but Azure there going, okay, we lost that first game, but we've got them on the ropes here in game 2. This is where we need to keep that pressure up and really start planning out.
Yeah, it can be hard to keep up that pressure, because, I mean, once you've got this kind of break, that mentality breaks as well a lot of the time. So Azure needs to really keep themselves hyped up and into that mindset of that lead that they have right now, and that's going to be hard for them. I think the benefit here very, very largely is going to be in Alke's favor, unfortunately for Azure. But you know, that they're already coming in off of no matches. This is they've been waiting a little while to play this grand final where Azure is coming in hot. Now they're going to lose a lot of that as well.
Yeah, but being hot didn't win them the game one. We know Alke have got the capabilities. Two goals is not a... Yeah, true. But Alke have got the capabilities to take 2 goals back. They've just got to feel it themselves. They've just got to, dare I say, want it enough, because passion for me is always the factor for Alke here. They're a very emotional squad. Yeah. If they're feeling good, they'll go on to 7-1, you know, get Brazils. If they're just feeling a little bit, maybe lackadaisical, where they're just like, we're going to calm off for this game, then that's where we see like the 2-0s, the 1-0s in favor of Alke, where they get that 1 goal and they're like, we're good, we've got enough now.
Yeah. And I mean, we talk about mentality so much in Rocket League because it is so important, particularly when you're under this amount of pressure, under the pressure of an RLCS grand final here right now, and it is massive, especially for teams that have never faced this before. They've never had RLCS to compete for. It's massive for them. So, you know, it is worth mentioning, but there's certain aspects of the game that mentality affects more than others as well. And when we're talking about how speed is so massive in shutting down mechanical players like the likes of which we see out of Alke, can Azure keep up that speed?
Well, can Alke keep up their speed? It's always their chief weapon. 2 minutes 45 left on the clock as we pick this up. Azure already 2-0 up. Alke trailing behind, but 2 goals is nothing. Sometimes in Rocket League, sometimes it's enough to have enough, but 3 goals, now that's a decent safety net underneath you, Azure.
They've held on to the mentality here. They come again, and that is a good safety net. 3-goal lead now for Azure, for the underdogs. They're coming in hot, and they really want to take down this giant.
Of course, Azure right now. LCT off the kickoff is like, no, that 2-goal differential, that's where it should be at right now, lads.
A bit of an error from Clawzy there as well. It wasn't too bad to really be committed upfield there, having faith in Clawzy, but he had to make the play right, and he just wasn't able to get that away from danger where he should have been, and that left it as a far open net for Alke.
After a mistake. I'm sure that was a mistake with LCT going up for this as well. And then he just lingers on the floor. You can see him backing off of that.
Yeah.
And Ballaries finds him off of the crossbar, no less.
Finds him incredibly well. I mean, Alke in very, very little time, I wish I had taken note of the first goal, have brought this back to a 1-goal lead and taken away any of the advantage that they formed in that early part of the game where they were facing those pingish.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was a record scratch somewhere off in the distance or whatever, because within 45 seconds, Alke have brought it back within 1. Can they make it tied up? Yes, they can. Ballaries to finish it off. A great 3-man passing play.
And Azure, all of a second, really just not looking so hot. Poor Z, big overcommit going straight under the ball. He had to see the man up. I just wonder what was going through his head there.
Well, at the same time, think Alke are full sending into these attacks. All 3 players are being utilized here across both the last, well, all 3 of the last 3 goals, actually. If this doesn't hit, if it's not a goal, they could have a very bad defensive mistake. They're throwing all of their cards at this one as Bunny Dummy throws it into the corner. Maxu just looking to slow it down. Alke are composed in a very aggressive style, and even so clutch in defense to boot.
It was such a good choice to go low with that shot as well. I thought it might go away, but it was just denied so brilliantly. LCT, a big miss, will mean that Azure can continue this attack. The flip reset of no use other than just doing a little dance on the ground for a second there. Will get away to the opposite corner, but this is a dead even game in game 2, and Azure are stepping up to Alke at the very least.
They are, but they look to be trying to rush this. They're a little bit too far from each other. So a ball will be thrown towards the middle as a pass from Azure, and the second man is just not there in time. About half a second, which doesn't sound like much, all does it, Gex? But half a second is the difference between hitting the ball into the back of the net and not getting there in time, thus Alke picks it up.
Yeah, half a second is a lot when you're not thinking about the time it takes to put a meal in the microwave. But LCT smashes that one home. An incredibly well-read pass from Maxiu. LCT, what is that? Redirect into the top right corner, bounces off the crossbar and ends up in the goal.
The belief in himself to hit that is outstanding. Most players will pass that back into the middle, won't they? But LCT passing it into the middle. This time for Bulleries. Alke built different.
And again, it took less than 10 seconds, I would say here, actually, to not only get back up in this series, but to secure it completely. I mean, 10 seconds is just not enough time for Azure to score 2 goals on... I mean, it would be a tough ask on anybody, let alone Alke.
It would, and with that, it's all formality now. Get to the floor. Clawsy does exactly that. No need to faff about. He knows he can't get 2 goals. He doesn't respect Rule 1, but you can't blame him in a situation like this, can you?
Yes, you can. Absolutely. Don't you dare tell me. No. But yeah, no, I mean, a disappointing end to the game for Azure, but Alke has really heated up. I mean, definitely they were facing issues early on. After that got cleared, just the rapidity of the goals that they were getting there, absolutely insane how fast they were able to come back once the game was evened up.
And at this point, normally is, you know, the play-by-play caster in the combo, I go, so, Gex, what do you think Azure need to do? And quite frankly...
Everything?
Yeah. Alke are just beating into every single ball and outplaying them. Now, Azure could turn it around by taking control, but I don't have confidence in that, do you?
No, I mean, this is why everybody was expecting 1NE versus Alke finals, because that realistically, that's how Asia's been in the past. And when you do not see that, this is what you see instead. Alke is so much faster, and 1NE is one of the only other teams in APAC South, at the very least, that can kind of answer that. It's so hard for Azure to come in here and adjust, especially after coming in against other teams who just didn't have that.
Well, and again, when we look at 1NE, they're not answering it with pace, or, you know, matching the speed of Alke. It's more outplaying them and taking that control. Azure here, they didn't go away like 1NE and come up with a strategy to take down Alke. They went away and, you know, practice on themselves. They're building themselves up, and they're a strong team. You know, they are still looking better than they did 2 weeks ago, but the difference is they didn't single-mindedly build themselves to be a single team. They built themselves to be a stronger team themselves, and that's not a bad way to go for the long haul. That's still going to help them down the line, but that's why we're not seeing a singular, like, you know, a 2-week change-up for them. It looks along the same lines as last time, doesn't it?
But I mean, you know, you do have to have that solid base to build a team off, to make sure that you can get to that top spot. And right now, that's what they're doing. They're building an incredibly strong, solid base. Possibly more than any other team has, I would even venture to say. But they don't have that specialty. And right now, LCT showing exactly the specialty of Alke, these fast, passing plays with accurate finishes.
And this is a special play for so many reasons. There was no safety net behind Alke in this. Machu was up stealing a corner boost. He's got so much confidence in his teammates to pull it off that he doesn't need to be back home watching over things. He got it set up, got the pass on in, chased up, nullified what the defense can do. And Alke have all that confidence that it'll work out, and that they just need to make it so that a defender isn't there, because they don't play as if your opponents are countering them. They are the top dogs, and they have full belief in that. And that's a scary amount of aggression coming Azure's way.
It is indeed, and they have crumbled to it once this match, but they won't hear a good clear away now as Clawzy gets in behind it again. They need to keep up on this. They need to form a defensive line at the midfield here and really push onto Alke, and shots like this, speed like this from Squiggly. He had to be the man to do it. We've interviewed him so many times. I can just see now the smile on his face.
I can as well. This will pick up the vibes. The lads will think that they're still in this. They'll back themselves to bring it back. And quite honestly, I could see Game 3 going their way. But they need a second goal. They need to grind it out, take control of this. Bullery stepping on in, gets it away into the back line. Squiggly is demo. Bunny Dummy with 100 in the tank. Can he get the block here? No, he can't. Maxu being a nuisance. Clawzy, that was a second touch. Unexpected. Bullery's to drop it down. Squiggly gets it away. Fantastic save.
Yeah, I mean, it was, but there's also still questions there. I mean, 3 members of Azure had to be in the goal. There was nobody on the backboard defending that. Nobody waiting for the clear up. I mean, it was the solid option there for defense, but you can tell that they're not planning for attack next. And that's where they're going to have to change their game up to get into this on top of this game.
I completely agree with you, but at the same time, like I said, the attacks coming through from Alke is scary. You cannot blame them for keeping all 3 players back. It's just coming down to if you can get Alke to make a mistake. I would like to see Azure send 1 player forward a lot earlier, maybe linger around the mid, not to steal the boost away if and then, but more so to just go on bumps on Alke players so that when they go for these passing players in the mid, it's not as easy to pull off.
Yeah. I mean, I think you really picked up on a good point there, that there is some very, very big validity to playing a very defensive and reactive game to Alke right now, because they aren't really taking Azure seriously. They are throwing those 3 players all at the attack at once. And if you can defend that away, you can run away with it. Not like that.
You say not taking them seriously. I don't think that's the case. I think right now, aggressive Rocket League is more fun to play.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone's going to disagree with me there. So if aggressive, in-your-face Rocket League, where all 3 players are up in attack, is working, why would you do anything else? This is super enjoyable for Alke to play right now.
Yeah, and they do play for that enjoyable factor, don't they? I mean, you've seen it before. They've even said it themselves, so it is definitely in their gameplay. But that doesn't take away the point that that is a viable option against them as a result.
You look at it as well, Azure don't have a massive amount of confidence in the midfield, which they need to pick up. Squiggly throwing this towards mid. That is saved by Maxu. Clawzy to get it off into his back corner to Bunny Dummy. Demo's coming on out. 30 seconds remaining now as Clawzy wanting to get that touch. Does knock it back to Bunny Dummy, but look at these demos. Alke are getting aggressive. They want to force open the net. They want to get the second deciding goal to push them on to series point, but it's just not working for them right now. Another attack coming on through. Where's the follow-up? Where's the save from Squiggly? He puts it out wide into the middle. LCT with the drop down. We look like we're closing in on that OT, but one last chance now. Maxu with the waterfall down. Clawzy taking it out wide, really following rule 1, but at the end of the day, it's got to come to an end. We've got OT in Game 3.
And this is where you just see the potential in Azure to be able to take it to an overtime, to go head-to-head with Alke, who are just having fun with it, and still be able to take it to overtime.
Right there in front of net, it was only 1 man back. They got 2 demos Azure, and they didn't have the confidence to just whip it in. They didn't have the confidence to put a pop shot towards the center, and that speaks.
Opportunities still for Azure, but nothing taken. Now it's getting away from them. A big bump on Squiggly might open something up for Alke. It will get away for a moment. Big beat there. Now nobody left in goal. Squiggly gets there just in time. Coming through clutch in this overtime. Less than a minute and already the threat is on Azure.
Aussie cheered on up. He needs to be an
Oh.
option for Bunny Dummy right now. A little bit too far back. In all fairness, Ballerese was getting that every single day of the week. Anyone towards mid? Yep, Squiggly takes it out and away. Maxu not going to be able to pick up the 100. So really it's out of rotation, especially after a bump. Clausey on a charge, but Ballerese bringing it into his chest to slow it on down is everything for Alke there.
And it's coming to a close with a demo. Alke puts it away with a minute 14 into this overtime. LCT, that 50 went so well for them and so poorly for Azure.
Well, and then the demo, yeah, onto Clausey, meant no one's home, easy peasy. It's just Alke with sparks of creativity. When they think they want to do something, they put their minds to it and see the result. Very close game. Look at the shots there as an example. 6 coming on out from Azure and then 5 from Alke. That's when you start to see this region close up, is when they can't play that traditional Asian Rocket League of just all-out attack. When they're dropping down to 6 or so shots, you know it's a close game.
Yeah, and I mean, look at the demos evening up there as well. I mean, we saw Alke just start on a really, really physical gameplay there, and it was a little bit worrying that Azure wouldn't be able to step up to that and handle it, but they pushed back and they actually evened that demo line, which is a really, really good thing out of a team that you might not expect to have the confidence to go for that against Alke.
So Azure calling out the timeout, can't blame them here. That's pretty standard, right? You know, they've got to try and go for another reverse sweep, but Gex, this time, it's not going to be, well, the last one wasn't easy. Let's just put that out there against Asia and Archie, but here against Alke, it's a completely different ballpark, isn't it?
I mean, that easy talking about that last series is quite the statement. It was not that easy. I think I was feeling it from my desk, but yeah, it's not going to be that easy. You're right. It's going to be a much tougher ask against Alke. I think Azure is going into this to learn. You know, I mean, they've got 2 best-of-7 series at the very least to get in here and get away with things and get a game plan to form against Alke.
That's a point I've not even thought of, right? That Azure now, the second time at least runners-up, you know, they're putting a good shout for them to be going in that second spot to the APAC tiebreaker where they go up against the 2 teams from Northern APAC as well. And if they keep getting these against Alke like this, they could learn how to break Alke. So maybe they are playing the long con where they're not looking for the instant fix to break Alke, but rather how to do it consistently. Because whilst I would argue we haven't seen them really change up a massive amount, here in Game 3 was their best show, you know, going to the OT, simple as that. But there was less freedom for Alke in Game 3. And it's just minute differences, which I think are flying under the radar, which Azure are changing up.
Yeah, absolutely. And being that they are a young team, they can learn much more rapidly than something that's been set in stone for a while. And we have seen them change, even in the 2 weeks leading up to this, much more heavily. But every single time you see them, they are forming that plan against Alke. Don't get me wrong, they are going to try their best to take any game they can here. But when they don't, this is all opportunities to do it in the future. Ballerese blocked away by Clausey and Squiggly. A good defensive passing play out. Actually a shot across field, but it will be gotten back to in time. Maxi, or what would that say? Oh!
They do it every single time. As soon as you give them an edge, LCT launching it to the air, struggling to just get to it, but tease it up. He gets the call from Ballerese to just cover that ball, help him guide it, and it's golden.
It's one step in the right direction for a full sweep on this by Alke now, but there is a whole second series no matter what happens in this game, so Azure can afford here to try whatever they want to right now. Squiggly, good touch there, does try to follow it, beaten by Maxu, very, very quick, and known to be LCT bump there actually doesn't go really to plan as Maxi out of boost as well. Big demo, brilliant play. 5 head out of Azure as they take one back to Alke.
I love this so much. Clausey going in, of course, there on the man. Yeah, Alke can be predictable because they want to play their own gameplay. So in situations like that, you should just assume the man's going to cover it on net, throw it to the other corner, you know, behind over his shoulder. And so go in for the demo. You can remove him. They have got so much confidence in themselves and arguably a little bit of disrespect to their opponents. Clausey wanted the second touch, they're not able to get it, quickly keeping a contention. But where they've got that confidence in themselves that, oh yeah, I'll be the one to hit the ball, it does leave them vulnerable at times.
LCT, a good block away. Clausey onto it now. And there is a lot of good things that Azure are doing here, but they're still even in this. They need to get up if they want to start yet another reverse sweep attempt. But an attempt is what it would be at the very best here, I think, because Alke seems to still have this under lock and key.
Series still open, you know how close we're seeing this right now. But they're getting closer and time will only tell. It could send us into that third set, and I wouldn't be opposed to it at all, Gex. But so far, Alke are weathering everything.
They really are. But the promising thing here is how much this is changing hands. How much we're seeing both sides of the field. Nearly saw that demo play or bump play come through again in net. There's that predictability from the defense, but unable to beat the ball there. It does get blocked away. Now, still an even scoreline. Opportunities for Azure are actually abound. What a shot! Had to be blocked away there. Bunny Dummy with the save.
Clausey as well has been cheating up into the midfield as an option to pass to. Whenever they get clearances, he can be down there as quick as possible to get them. That's a little mistake. Squiggly came off early. Makes Clausey jump, going for another third man. A little bit too late to the party. But LCT keeping this pressure alive. Bunny Dummy, a mistake, gets a whiff, isn't able to get the touch on the ball, and so Balleries gets the second for Alke.
Yeah, the little bump there on Squiggly took him out of defensive position there. He repositioned, but just not quite in time to take away that admittedly fairly basic ending shot there, but the setup was anything but.
So, 1 minute 10 left on the clock. Oh, keeping that up online. Azure using their last lifeline right now here in the first set. There will be more going on. They don't want to end this in a 4-0. Take one game, take a little bit of damage to your opponents. Here, how does he do it?
It's insane the confidence that LCT has to go for this kind of play. Flips back to ground and fakes everybody out just so that he can get up and fire it into the top right corner again. Alke has mechanics and everybody knows it, but sometimes it's just still surprising when you see stuff like this come out, and it's a big brain play using those abilities.
I mean, LCT is like faking in the fourth dimension there, because he's adding speed to it. Fakes are normally so slow where you just leave the ball out, but instead they're going to the air and then letting it drop to himself once again, going so quickly to the floor as he saved that dodge so that he could just power himself back to the floor is ludicrous.
Okay, so we saw good stuff in the beginning of this last match here, of this first best of 7 out of Azure. I mean, it's a great setup by Maxu and a good shot. It's just more. It's exactly the same thing that Azure is succumbing to. Really, really high mechanics players. They need to get there earlier.
Yeah, and that last goal, understandable. You can see Squiggly there in the mix, but he's covering that left-hand side of the net to us, thinking that his teammate was going to get a block out there. If it 50-50s, pinches off, he's covering more of the net, so it's them covering as much space as possible. I would argue you can't really do much more in that situation. It just comes down to the attacking man to get the save. Aussie, though. I mean, it is a garbage time goal, but this could help them a bit of morale going into the next set.
Exactly, and this is what I was going to talk about. We saw Azure really pick up in the opening areas of this last match. If they can find that, and they can start off what would have been a reverse sweep there, maybe they take it into the next series. Maybe they lose this one, they take it into the next series, they start off strong, and they go for a full sweep instead.
Perhaps. That's what happens,
unlikely.
But I mean, 4-0. It's a repeat, a bad case of deja vu.